You like my Wiener King that's put on the back of my phone?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I should get one on my case that says magnet doesn't fucking work. That big. Gage has coronavirus.
Yeah. Sorry, yo.
Gimme head.
Gimme head.
So no head?
I think we already made that joke.
Yeah, we did.
I always make.
Let me throw my beanie back on, because...
Is this?
My Goombalini.
Okay, cool.
Welcome to CTTV episode 7.
Is it 7 or is it 8?
It's 7.
Seven.
Episode 7.
Okay.
You haven't even been here for all of them and you're going to question me on that?
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I have a huge problem, and I think the only reasonable explanation is the boogeyman.
Right.
That's
So, every day, I wake up in the morning.
yeah.
Feeling like
P.
Diddy.
Diddy.
Hell yeah. I grab my towel, walk in the bathroom, turn the shower on.
I'm gonna hit the city.
I'm going to hit the city. I fold up my towel and put it on the counter, right?
Yep.
I don't think that's part of the song.
I know. Now, at no point,
sensitivity's way low. Continue.
at no point does my towel touch any water.
Yeah.
Turn the shower on. Towel is completely isolated onto the dry counter.
Mm-hmm.
Take my shower, and then I turn the shower off, reach out, grab the towel, ready to dry myself off. And every once in a while, there's a fat, drenched spot on the towel. And I don't know how or why.
Do you move your arms upwards at all when you're in the shower? Because if
No.
you do what?
And even if I did, and it like splashed a little bit onto the towel somehow, even though it's pretty far away, there's no, I'm talking like a puddle as big as like bigger than two of my fists together.
Like the size of two boogeyman
What it can be
Right.
is it can be
That's pretty big.
water pooling up on the ceiling, because this happens to me. Steam will pull up on the ceiling, move over like a little bit, and start dripping down.
That would happen to me while I'm drying off in my old house.
I could believe that, but it's anytime the water is dripped from the ceiling, it's usually directly above the shower.
usually
it's not way out there.
It can travel though. I've had it to where it was like going down the side of my wall in the other side of my bathroom. I've had it where I've had water splashed on my fucking window, even though I would never touch the window.
You know what it probably is? It's because my shower head is detachable.
Oh,
So
you're
maybe
just
maybe I accidentally angle it up. It hits the ceiling and I don't notice, and then it drips. Because that shit has been driving me crazy. I thought maybe I was pulling the towel in too fast and it was hitting the shower wall.
maybe.
But I tried putting it on the shower wall myself, and it was nowhere near as wet.
It was
So I think
you moving the shower head.
Gage just cracked the code.
What a
So we can eliminate the boogeyman.
We can
Yes.
eliminate.
Yeah, we can eliminate the boogeyman.
God, what a disappointing way to start the podcast.
Wow, you really just got to shit on.
You didn't have a topic.
Wow.
Well, you just kind of went for it. I don't know. I just kind of sat down and here we are. But
We don't have
Hey,
to have
mystery solved.
mystery
This
solved.
is a true crime podcast now.
This is yeah.
We're doing a new theme
I
every
could put
episode.
that in the tags now.
Okay.
True crime.
True crime.
Mystery solved. Case closed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Open close case. Beautiful.
Very beautiful. Well, I say every single episode, Dan, since you were so dissatisfied with his story, we have some sort of, Greek mythology level fucking tale that we have to tell. What do you
An
say?
epic.
Yeah,
An
an
epic.
epic.
Like Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Like the Odyssey,
Yeah, like the
exactly.
Odyssey. Exactly.
What is your Odyssey?
Yeah,
What's
your
my
Odyssey?
Odyssey?
I have an Odyssey.
Of course
Oh,
you do.
Of course. Is it the
Are we surprised?
is it the Thailand trip?
Yes.
Oh,
Holy
okay.
crap. We're so
right,
good
well,
at this.
Would
Are
you
we-
like me to retell this tale?
Should we
On
just
the
jump into it again? Should we just go for it?
Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, all right, go for it. You better tell the ending how I like the ending with sound effects.
Sound effects.
Yeah, like I don't want to spoil the ending,
I don't remember sound effects.
but it's like there's something that goes like that. The audience can't see this, but there's something that goes.
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is my Odyssey, also known as the worst 48 hours of my life.
Yeah.
So, first of all, the story starts in Thailand. The date is August 9th, the day before my birthday. And we are going from Thailand to Taiwan to the United States. And in the United States, we'd be landing in LA, driving all the way down, probably 4 or 5 hours to my house. So I say, you know what? falling asleep on a plane is a pain in the ass, and I can never do it. So I'm just going to stay up all night and so I can pass out on the plane. So I stay up till about 2 a.m.-ish before my mom comes into my hotel room and says, hey, grab your things. We're rolling out to the airport right now. So I grab all my stuff. It takes like an hour to get to the airport. It takes a few hours to get through airport security, all that lame shit, whatever. We're on the plane. We're flying, and my plan worked. I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Until 30 minutes go by, and this stupid bitch wakes me up. This flight attendant, I could kill this woman. In this moment, when she woke me up, I could have killed this woman.
How old were you?
This was 2 years ago,
yeah.
so I was 16-ish at the time. I was about to turn 17, though.
Right. Because it was the day before his birthday.
So, she wakes me up. Is it important? No. She asks me, do you want water? Fuck. No, I don't want water. I'm sleeping. After that point, I couldn't sleep for the rest of the flight. And from Thailand to Taiwan, I think it was a 3 to 4 hour flight. We land in Taiwan. Yeah. My eyes feel like rocks inside flesh sockets. Oh, my eyes stung so bad. We're in the Taiwanese airport, walking around, fucking off, because we have a good amount of time before the next plane comes that takes us to LA. Yeah. I think we were there for about 2 to 3 hours. And at the time, I was running on YouTube Red. So I had some downloaded videos so that I could watch these downloaded videos on the plane.
Pretty French.
Seems pretty big brain, right? I even had 6 hours worth of music downloaded so I could listen to music and read while I was on the plane. You know, I had this whole thing figured out.
Yeah.
10 minutes before I get on my plane, YouTube says, oh yeah, we deleted all your videos. You don't have them anymore. Your YouTube Red has expired.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All my entertainment gone. Pretty much.
No.
You're going in cold.
Going in raw.
Yeah.
We get on the plane. I can't sleep the entire time. And that's a 13-hour flight.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'd been awake for probably 36 hours. I was awake the whole day before, and then I was awake during the whole flight from Thailand to Taiwan while we were sitting in Taiwan, and then on the flight to LA, I was awake the whole time.
All right.
We land in LA. I have to pee so bad. But since we've landed, okay, I'll be patient. You know, once we can all get off the plane, I can go pee. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. And then maybe I can pass out in the car. 2 rows behind me, Sky had different plans. He decided to fucking die on the plane. This guy actually died. And his wife was Thai. So all the people asking what the fuck's going on to this lady are speaking in English. So she doesn't know what the fuck to do. And they don't know what the fuck to do either. And after about an hour of everyone being forced to sit there, they finally get some guys to come take out the body and do something with him. I don't know what they did with
Chop them up and serve them in the cafeteria. You know, usual airport stuff.
Bring him back to the stewardess area and serve him for the next meal.
Mm-hmm. How about that airplane food? Am I right?
So after that whole thing, I get to escape to the airport restroom. And I have peeing stage fright. You know, when there's a lot of people in the restroom with me, I have a hard time peeing, which is why I go for the stall 99% of the time. Yeah. Urinals, they blue ball me. Every time I go to a urinal and I'm ready to pee.
It's called poor road game, but it's a Dave Chappelle coined word.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I'm adding that to my dictionary. But so as soon as I see other people peeing, I can't pee. It bothers me. I wish I could pee, but I can't. But all the stalls were taken, and, you know, all the urinals were taken too, except like a few here and there, because no one wants to stand next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, while they take a piss. Right. But I had to be that guy and stand between 2 people so I could pee, even though I had pee stage fright. And I managed to squeak it out, but it felt like liquid sandpaper rushing through my urethra the whole time. and this happened to be the longest piss of my life. And I think I would have rather pissed my own blood. It hurt so bad.
Jesus. Oh my god.
Anyway, we move on from the restroom. It's time to grab our luggage. We're waiting there for a long time. Luggage always takes a long time. We grab our bags. We head to the gift shop kind of area that's right next to where all the cars pick you up, take you wherever,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm not paying attention. I'm half dead at this point. I'm about to be that guy 2 rows back. So I'm not paying attention to my father and my sister. My father grabs a coffee, and my sister grabs a muffin or a bagel or some shit, whatever. It doesn't matter. And I'm sitting on the bench waiting for our shuttle to come. And my dad and my sister are fighting over some stupid shit. I'm not really paying attention. When all of a sudden, the entirety of my dad's cup of coffee that was just brewed spills all over my leg. What? Why?
Nice.
What did I do to deserve this? I haven't slept for over a day and a half, and you're just going to drop some coffee on my leg? And when I freak out and say, what the hell? Why is there coffee on me? Turns out my dad and sister were fighting over my dad trying to cop a bite out of this muffin or bagel because he should be able to, because he bought it for her. And because they were fighting over that, my dad thought it was a great idea to put his coffee cup on a suitcase.
What?
And when I yelled about it, he said, I asked you to hold the coffee. I didn't hear you, and I'm not even alive, really. And you expect me to hold this coffee so you can argue about a fucking muffin?
Yeah.
Just drop it. You're a grown man. What the fuck? Our shuttle finally comes and takes us all the way to the giant parking garage. And for some reason, my sister grabs my backpack and chucks it into the car. Now, all of that other stuff, whatever. I can sleep when I get home. It'll make it all go away. You know, the pain of my coffee leg only lasts so long. But she threw my backpack into the car. My backpack happened to have my 3DS in it. Obviously, I brought it with me because I'm a nerd. I want to have some fun at nighttime when I'm in Thailand.
Better battery life than anything else that anybody owns.
It's just good to have on a trip.
Yeah.
But this isn't just some normal 3DS that you get day one on 3DS launch. This is the Pokemon 25th Anniversary Limited Edition 3DS that I spent like $400 on.
The cream of the crop of 3DS.
It's a really good 3DS, and it's nice, and it's limited variety because the 3DS, the new 3DS in Japan wasn't made in America, but this one was made in America, and it was the same model as the one in Japan, so it was pretty unique and sleek.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Pristine.
But because she threw it in there, it's got scratches on it now,
God damn it.
which are super obvious to see because it's a white DS.
Right.
That probably pissed me off the most. Then, 5-hour drive home. We're driving. Can't sleep the whole fucking time. We get home. I crawl up into my bed where I know nothing can fuck me right now. This is what I've been seeking the entire time.
Yeah.
The early morning. Practically the dead of night for me. My door opens, and my mother peeks her head into my room and says, "Happy birthday. Thank you for waking me up."
Round of applause. Round of applause. Incredible story. We've all heard this at least 3, maybe 4
I've heard
times.
it so many times, but it gets funnier each time I hear
Each
it.
So
time,
good.
it
So
ages
good.
like just a fine wine.
A good meatball.
That is a true Odyssey. It is.
It's a true Odyssey.
I'm hoping that's the worst thing I ever experience. I don't want it to get any worse than that.
I don't think it really can. I think my Odyssey might just be being peed on. Which
When were you peed on?
I talked about that in the last podcast. Oh no, 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, the little poor little Kevin.
Oh, right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I thought it was a little more obvious than that. Like someone just came up and pissed on you out of nowhere, not in the restroom. I thought that's where you were going with that.
I don't think I have any super long-winded stories like that. Most of my stories are like, oh yeah, like this crazy thing happened, or like I dropped an egg and I was able to hacky sack it back up, which has never happened to me. I'm terrible at anything
Right.
coordinated, but
But no long-winded Odyssey stories like he just had.
no, I don't think so. Most of the ones that I've been told are third party.
Oh,
Like the one at a kid at a party was so drunk that he pissed himself.
Oh,
and was
yes.
like,
I was there.
Nate was there. Yeah. And then he was like, I've got to go change. And then he starts to hop the banister of the stairs to get down instead of walking down the stairs. It's not there for that, but incredible
Yeah.
story. Well, I have another one where I wasn't there again, but 3 of my friends were down at the beach and walking around, and apparently 3 kids fit their description. Like they were all wearing hoodies, and the SWAT team came up and like told them to get onto the ground, onto the beach, because 3 kids have hijacked a car at
Oh.
like 10 minutes before.
Nice.
So
sick.
Very epic.
both of the times I weren't there, so
Did I ever tell you about the time me and Gage helped in a police investigation?
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, that was an interesting one.
oh, I technically did too.
3-second story. Although I've done it twice, and you were a part of one of them.
I was.
But
I was next door.
one time, me, Gage, and Seabass are all hanging out, and we're walking Gage's dogs, and all of a sudden, police car. It's not a police car.
It's an unmarked.
yeah.
It's a black unmarked Challenger pulls up right next to us.
Oh yeah, pulls up right next to us. Guy rushes out like he's in a serious. Wow, I just forgot the word. But he's determined to get something done. Okay, he's getting something done. And he comes up to us and he's like, "Have you guys seen a woman around here?" I mean, Gage and Steve asked, "No."
No, we haven't.
And then he climbs back into his car. He got out of his car for this, by the way, which I think is a big waste of time.
Well, yeah,
when
you could
you're-
have just rolled down the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But nothing about the dude screamed police at all, except you could see the.
He had a uniform on though.
It wasn't very well pronounced, though.
Was it like a undercover cop uniform kind of thing, or?
It looked really undercover, like really non-conspicuous.
Yeah, it was like a deep blue, button-up, black pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But nothing like it seemed if you were to take a long look at the car and the person in it, you would think, okay, yeah, they're probably an undercover cop or whatever. But just glancing as it like drives by or whatever, you wouldn't think much of it.
Yeah.
But just pulls up right next to us, stops it, and gets out and walks right in front of us and goes, "Have you guys seen a blonde middle-aged woman around here at all?" And I'm like, no. He goes, "Okay, thank you." Then he hops back in his car and speeds off in the opposite direction.
And Seabass says, "I hope that lady's okay." And I said, "Well, what if the lady's the bad guy?" And Gage says, "Let's just hope everything's okay."
Yeah.
Very nice. Very sweet.
Very, very sweet.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
like that.
I think it's since we mentioned it, we should mention the time. Oh my! This is
Yeah,
just the
this is
story.
the vibe.
This is just the Israel podcast. This episode.
I'm a celebrity.
But I'm involved in this story.
Dane is involved in this one.
But it has to do with me handing evidence over to a detective. But I think Israel should take it over once again.
What?
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
remember this?
No.
I'm not
Okay,
aware.
you'll remember it very quickly.
It was February of this year.
Yeah, it's so the 2nd of February. I walk in to work
Groundhog
like
Day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
a normal day of work. I always show up early, about an hour to 30 minutes early every day. I like to be on time. I walk into the back and I'm on my phone and I'm hanging out, whatever, like I normally do. I'm sitting there laughing my ass off at some stupid video our friend made. When all of a sudden my coworker comes into the room crying and she's freaking out. And I thought she was laughing at something. So I pull my headphones off. I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" And she says, "Call the police. Please call the police." And that's when my brain's like, "Wait, what the fuck's going on right now?" And she says, "There was a guy with a gun and he came in here and I gave him all the money in the register." And I say, "Oh, shit."
Yeah.
I take a peek outside. No one's in the store. I go and lock the door. And she's crying in the back, and she calls our manager, and I call the police. first time I've ever dialed 911. Hopefully it's last time as well.
Yeah.
I call 911. I said, yeah, I'm at X location. I don't want to dox myself too much here.
Yeah, I think you might have already mentioned it where you were. It doesn't matter. But
I'm at X location. We just went through an armed robbery, whatever. And she says, were you there? And I said, I was in the back room. My coworker was out. And she says, I need to talk to your coworker. And the dumbass, I'm a dumbass. So I say, oh, she's talking to our boss on the phone right now. And she says, no, you give me to her. So I go in the back and give it to her. And then I immediately realize, why the fuck did I even bother saying that?
this is a police investigation.
I know. And she hashes it out with my coworker.
Yeah.
And Dane at the time worked next door. Mm-hmm. And they
literally shared a wall.
Yeah, we shared a wall together.
Yeah.
Dane, I can hear Dane's coworkers knocking shit around like the apes they are.
We got some apes. We got some. Ooh.
But Dane's side of the store has surveillance cameras from 2 or 3 different angles or whatever.
A lot.
And then those cameras are pointed at a wall, and that wall is a reflective mirror. So the guy runs away, but we have his face.
Oh, we have a camera pointed directly outside the front door. Like we can see everything.
You guys had cameras on lock. And when the police came over and started questioning us or whatever, then they started going to the neighboring stores, and that's when they asked for the footage. And Dane was like,
I was like, I got the DVD. Here you go, detective lady.
That lady was really mean, though.
She was really nice to me, but I've only heard bad things about her.
Dude, we had the door locked, so people couldn't come in, and people were trying to open the door. They saw the police in there. They would look at each other and say, I don't know what's going on. And she would march up to the door, unlock it, and say, you need to get the fuck out of here. This is a police investigation.
Jesus Christ.
It was awesome.
Can't contaminate any of the evidence. Wait, did you even say what happened? Like, I don't think you even mentioned what happened.
I said my coworker told me that someone was in there with a gun, and she gave him all the money. But long story short, he comes in, pulls a gun out of his jacket, and says, don't do anything funny, just give me everything in the drawer. Which, this guy's a fucking idiot, by the way, listeners. I just want to tell you how idiotic this guy is. He goes to a vitamin store with no one in it and robs the place. Now, we have tons of vitamins that are worth their weight in gold. But he says, no, I want what's in the register, right? The register at all times is only allowed to have $250 max.
Yeah.
We didn't even have $250 in the register at the time.
Nope, not a single.
So he grabs the $200 out of the register, leaves the change, obviously, and he asks my coworker, is there a safe? And my coworker told me she didn't want to lie to him and then get shot. So she says, yes, we do have a safe. It's right here. I can unlock it. She unlocks the safe, and in the safe, we have 2 envelopes. One's the daily deposit, and one keeps all the money from the other register, so another $250. And that $250 is money we don't use because the place isn't busy enough to be running 2 cash registers 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So she grabs only one of the envelopes, not knowing which one it is. She gives it to the guy. Also, the one with $250 in it has the company credit card, but that's not important. She grabs the envelope, gives it to the guy, and he runs away. That envelope had a single penny in it. One single penny.
This guy make this up.
Threw his life away for 2 days worth of work. And not only was he such a clown for stealing so little, and by stealing in a place where there are cameras everywhere in broad daylight, but when he came in, he was acting like a real customer, so he touched products with his bare hands. They had his fingerprints right away. He touched so many things. It's actually insane. We lost product to the police because they had to take that as evidence.
Jesus Christ. Oh my lord.
Yeah. So that's 2 Israel Odysseys. That is, what's the prequel to the Odyssey? It starts with an I. It's about
The Iliad?
Iliad.
Yeah.
That was the Iliad, even though it happened afterwards, but it was shorter. So
I have a tiny story that's pretty ridiculous. So it was, I think, 2016. It was just near 4th of July. I think it was like the eve of 4th of July. So the night before. And it's about...
that is what Eve infers.
The 3rd of July.
God.
4th of July Eve.
Yeah, 4th of July eve.
The day before
So,
Independence Day.
We're all chilling like in my house. It's me, my mom, my dad. And, it's about 8 o'clock at night. Everyone's getting tired. We're about to go to bed. And so we start shutting off all the lights in the living room of our house. But we usually keep the TV on to deter people from, trying to fuck with our door just to make it sound like we have someone out there. So we're all in our beds. I'm chilling on my bed and just watching YouTube, but I didn't have any headphones at the time, so I was just watching it through my phone speaker. And outside, I hear a few muffled, people yelling, "Right away, man, what the fuck, move!" And then I hear someone, like, they're tripping and falling over a fence, and then nothing for about 10 seconds. Then a little more time passes. There's a tire skirt right in front of the house, and just bang, 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 bang.
I remember this.
I was like, it's like a fucking cherry bomb or something. It has to be, because it wasn't a super loud bang. It was just kind of sounded, like an M80 or whatever. So I thought nothing of it that night. Or in the moment, I didn't think anything of it. And I'm sitting there, and about 20 minutes goes by, and I'm thinking, that was too quiet to be a cherry bomb. Cherry bombs are pretty loud, but they don't make the, entire inside of the house wake up like nothing.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking a little more, and I go outside. There's nothing there. There's not a single person there. There's no powder or any shit on the ground of where it would have went off or anything like that. There was no remnants of fireworks. So I was like, maybe I'm just going fucking crazy. So I go back inside and I go to bed. Wake up in the morning, there's a knock on my door, and there are four fully armed officers in complete riot gear out in front of my house. And I go, how can I help you, officer? And they go, do you know anything about a shooting that happened here last night? And I go, no. There's not much crime that goes on in this area. And I peer outside, my house, outside the window. There's counted at least 7 squad cars, a news team, crime tape, and a Bearcat armored truck blocking the front of my street. And there are officers picking up bullet casings left and right, out front of my house. Apparently, some dude had some sort of beef with somebody right across from my house, which, mind you, is less than 100 feet across the street. So I could walk over there in about 5 seconds. Apparently, they decided they were going to shoot up the house. And anyone who was trying to run outside and hop over the fence. Piece of the fence was broken. There was a small blood trail. I think he got pegged in the leg or some shit. But we couldn't leave for like the next 6 hours. Because the police were blocking up every single part of the street. And then we go outside and of course, Parasite News crew decided to come up and try to interview people. They're like knocking on people's doors, asking them what happened. Every person's giving the same answer. Like, I don't fucking know. I was sleeping.
That's a fair answer.
Gage would be like, I was on YouTube.
I was on YouTube. I was on YouTube Red.
But they come up to my house, and my dad just was like, "Bud, shut the door. We're not answering their questions." I'm like, "Cool, I'm gonna shut the door." So we close the door, and then we see a shadow of 2 of them walk up, and then we hear knocking. And we're like, "Yeah, we're not answering that." And then the knocking keeps going on for 30 seconds. We're like, are they gonna fuck off or what? Knocking goes on for a minute. Still not gonna answer the door. It's now probably a good 2.5 minutes, and there are still consistent knocks on our door.
This is the news team or the police?
News team.
Okay.
So we finally open up the door, and they go, could you guys answer a few questions? And we just go, no. And we shut the door again.
Classic.
Power move.
We get one more knock. And we open it up. And they go, are you sure you can't just answer one question? Just one little... Shut the door again. And then we see them sit around outside for about another 30 seconds. Just kind of like peering through the window to see if they can like see us in there. But we have our blinds closed. The only thing we can see is like a shadow peeking through the blind. And then they finally decide to leave. Then it's probably 7 o'clock at night, and thinking, well, haven't been able to leave the house pretty much all day without being stopped by a cop. So let's see if I can go out now. Go out, there's nothing there now. Everything's completely cleared out. Literally everything's clear. Like it was nothing. And then we never heard another thing after that. We never got a report as to what happened. Not a word was said.
That was the boogeyman.
Yeah,
That was definitely the.
That was the boogeyman.
That is
Did you
not.
see any wet towels?
I didn't see any wet towels.
Dang it, bro.
We need more evidence.
We need. Yeah, I have a story that could have turned into a Odyssey, but instead it turned out to be one of the safest times I ever felt in Los Angeles. So I went to a concert in LA last December with some friends. I went with Ty, a friend who listens to the podcast, and Carter. And we went down to LA. We were chilling there. We went to a concert, and it was after the concert. We took an Uber to the concert from the hotel, and then we were going to take one back. I paid for the first one. Somebody else was going to pay for the second one. Pretty reasonable thing to do. So it's after the concert. We walk a few blocks away, and we're like, all right, let's get the Uber. Somebody calls up the Uber. We get it, and they drive us only about a quarter mile away from the concert, which is really weird because our hotel was like 3 miles away from the concert. So we're thinking, maybe they just know LA really well. Some like crazy shortcut.
Yeah.
They drop us off and we have no idea where we are. We look and see what the other person paid for. We're like, what? Where did you take us? Where are we? We looked it up. Turns out there are 2 hotels with the exact same name.
And it's not like a big brand.
No, it's not like whatever.
Not like the Marriott or
Hilton.
whatever.
No, not Marriott. or
Holiday
Hampton.
Inn.
It was the Banana Bungalow. There's only
Shout out.
2 in. Shout out to the Banana Bungalow. They know how to party, even though I stayed in my room the whole time. But so we're like, well, who's gonna pay for the next Uber? I'm not gonna pay for the next Uber. I already paid for an Uber. The person who just paid for an Uber said, I'm not gonna pay for the next Uber. I just paid for one too. And then the other 2 people are like, well, we were the ones who drove here, so we're not going to pay for the Uber. I don't know how that applies, but that was their I don't know. I can't remember. So we're thinking, let's just start walking, and we'll just whoever breaks first gets to pay for the Uber. So we start walking. Mind you, it's about now 5 miles to our hotel, and it is 11:30 at night in Los Angeles on a Saturday night. So we're walking, and nobody decides to pay for the Uber. The thing is you think streets of Los Angeles, West Hollywood, Fairfax area, it's probably pretty intense at night. A lot of party people, a lot of nightlife. No. Literally the safest I've ever felt at night. We had one strange interaction with a man in Hollywood who came up to us and said, hey man, you know this guy named, and then like some rapper, Carter remembers who he is because he looked him up later. But we were like, no. Yeah, my uncle or something. He's like a producer for him. It's crazy. That's dope, man. You know where a guy can get a blunt? Nah, we're from out of town. Dang. All right, see you guys later. And he walks across the street, and we're like, that was kind of tight. But that's the only weird thing that happened. We walked an hour and a half back to the hotel. We got back at 1 a.m. Nothing weird happened. It could have been a great grand adventure. We could have slept on the streets.
Could have been super bad part 2.
Could have been super bad part 2, bro. But no, it was just, apparently Carter claims that I did feel unsafe because he was like, yeah, I remember it was like the most mad I've ever seen you. But I must have been either so mad that I can't remember or just so absolutely jaded that I couldn't remember. But
Nice.
yeah, it's a story that I'll never forget.
Either
even
way,
though nothing
something happened. Something happened.
Something happened. I think Carter was, just like singing really loud or something. And I was like, dude, stop it, dude. But I don't
fact
even
that
remember
nothing
that.
happened means something happened.
I just blocked it out. It's such a traumatic experience. I blocked it out of my mind.
Nate, what about you? Do
You were
have any
actually
sort of-
pissing your pants the whole
The only, I mean, it would take me a while to think of something, but right off the top of my head, the main thing, it's something that didn't directly happen to me, but it had to do with my work. It's a mini story. Basically, my work is right next to a grocery store, and my manager walks out to her car, and this guy comes up to her, and she's like, and the guy is like, "Hey, you see that guy that just walked into your store?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "He has a gun." She's like, "Excuse me." Yeah, that guy has a gun. He just tried to rob me. Oh, okay. So she goes to her car. She calls my other manager, who is still working, and is like, "Hey, call the police. There's a guy with a gun in our store." My manager's like, "Right, of course." Calls 911. They have 911 on speed dial. They don't even call 911. It's just the police at this point because we get so many weird people that go into our store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy, my manager calls the police. "Hey, we got a guy with a gun. We think, not sure." So the police come. The guy, they're looking at him on the cameras the entire time. The guy is just in our computer aisle, just on a computer, just searching stuff up. The police come on either side of this aisle, which first off is kind of dumb.
Yeah, that's
Because, like, if they start shooting, they're going to kill each other. Like, I don't know what their plan was exactly. But anyway, they're on either side of the aisle. They have their guns out. "Sir, get on the ground." They're screaming at this guy for 5 minutes to get on the ground. He's just, like, on YouTube or something. I don't even know. He's on a computer, just not giving a shit.
He's watching the CTTV podcast.
As he should be. So, they're like, after 5 minutes, they're like, "All right, screw it." They bum rush him and just tackle him to the ground. The guy's just like, and then he starts realizing, "Oh, I'm getting arrested." And then he's like, starts screaming up a storm. He's like, why am I getting arrested? I don't see what the deal is. And they're like, "You have a gun." And that's it.
Oh, did he have a gun?
I don't remember,
Oh.
but
Damn.
I'm pretty sure he did.
That's technically more eventful to my story if we're talking about levels of
What actually?
Danger.
danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
sketchy. Oh, another side piece. When I first started working at my job, a guy would come in. You guys are all familiar with whippets, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's one of the most low tier drugs.
Yes. So basically,
I
for
was
those of you,
educated by you.
huh?
On whippets?
You told me what they
Oh.
were.
So for those of you who don't know, it's basically you just get compressed air and just
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can do it with like whipped cream, and it just basically constricts your blood vessels and gives you a head rush. Kind of lame.
Yeah.
Whatever, you do you. So this guy would come in when I first started working at my job. He would come in every morning, right when we opened, and get a 3-pack of compressed air. Every morning. It's $15. So it's more expensive than cigarettes.
It's more expensive than coffee.
Like every day. For like 3 months straight.
Coffee and cigarettes. Well, Okay, anyway, you continue.
So 3 months, every day for 3 months, he would come in, $15 a day. And he looked homeless. So I don't know where he was getting this money from. But anyway, one day he stopped showing up. And I was like,
Whippets guy.
Whippets guy. I was like, "Oh, where's Whippets guy?" Because it was like me and my coworkers knew of him at this point because we're like, "Who is this guy?" He just comes in every day asking for Whippets.
Right.
So then he's not there for like a week. And then he comes back. Oh, I'm thinking of way more like other weird people at my job.
You're starting to like.
There's
starting to
one
click.
more guy. He is the cherry on top. I will
He's the
get to him.
pinnacle. Okay.
To finish the story, to get to him. Basically, he comes back and he keeps doing his whippets, and then he disappears again. Never seen him again. Anyway, so this guy that's the cherry on top. This guy is. My excitement in telling you guys that I remembered this man is immense. So.
I don't think you've told any of us this story because I don't.
No,
think
I
I've seen
haven't.
you excited
I haven't.
about your
This
work
guy
experience.
is, you know, like those weird people that like you'll just see and you'll be like, I wonder what his story is.
Oh yeah.
This guy will tell you his story, but it changes every day.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like these people.
So, to start. He comes into my work every Sunday. This was before the pandemic. Every Sunday, he comes into my work and he gets a flash drive.
Yeah.
Because what he has is a speaker little thing that he loads music onto the USB, plugs it into a speaker, and then blares music out of his speaker.
Nice.
He's this, I want to say like 70-something dude, wears a veteran's ball cap, same clothes every day. He carries around with him a suitcase and a backpack.
Yeah.
Every time he comes into our store and leaves our store, it beeps, like the sensor that like someone is stealing something. It beeps. But at this point, we're just like, we don't even care. Just do it. We don't care.
Yeah.
So what he'll do, he has a tradition. He'll just put his luggage bag into a cart and walk around, get a USB, and it takes him close to an hour to do this.
Right.
Because he'll be looking at them, and then he comes up, he'll pay for it with cash every time, because he doesn't believe in cards, by the way.
Nice.
He's told you this.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he will talk to me, no matter who is in line, for at least 10 minutes about why this USB is good. He's like, yeah, this USB, this brand, it works really well. I'm like, I know. It's the most expensive one.
Yeah.
Of course it's good.
Yeah.
Recently, first I didn't, so he would come in every Sunday religiously, like it was church.
Yeah.
With USB. I hadn't seen him in a really long time, so I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care. This guy's weird. He comes back, and I see him, and I'm like, oh God, it's him. I'm gonna tell you guys his name because I'm very certain he's not listening to this. His name is Lyle.
Wow.
Lyle's a good name.
Nice.
So, pretty sure he has COVID, not even gonna lie. He was coughing a lot. Anyway, so he goes, his new tradition is he'll go to the back of our store in our furniture pad, set up his laptop, plug it in, set it all like a little station. Like he's setting up a station.
Yeah.
And he'll watch like Russian news in the back and just pass out. Straight up asleep. We're like,
Lyle, my man.
and so we're like, me and Dax, I'm gonna say
The
his name
goddess
here,
of chaos.
the goddess of chaos himself. He's like, dude, I think Lyle's asleep, and I'm like, are you what? And he's like, yeah, no, he's just passed out. We look, he's just watching Putin on the news. So we're like, dope.
God.
He apparently gave one of my coworkers 2 CDs of his music.
Oh, he's got mixtapes.
He's got mixtapes, dude.
Hell yeah.
One of them is called Long Nights.
That sounds like a mixtape.
Aw, yeah.
So, needless to say, I'm bringing that back here, and we're giving it a good.
Oh my
listen.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I say whenever you bring it back, that's gonna be our intro music for the next episode of the podcast.
For that episode.
The whole album is just the outro. Like if it's an hour and 20 minutes, so be it.
That's fine.
It doesn't matter.
6-hour outro game.
I wish I had homeless mixtape promoters coming to my work.
Dude, I don't know what his story is because he has a guy that drops him off now and picks him up and just takes him to our store and then picks him up. But he used to like hitchhike on the road. I would see him in Starbucks just like sitting there all the time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the dude's homeless. But he always talks about like, oh, my wife this, I'm buying this for my wife, blah, 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 blah. And I've only heard about his wife. But apparently he tells people stories about himself. And they're really weird. Like, I have not personally heard any of them because I only interact with them for 10 minutes. Unfortunately, some people have to interact with this man for up to an hour.
Wow. Nice.
I'm so sorry for those of you that
Within your work.
within my work. And sometimes we get really busy and he doesn't care. He'll just keep talking.
Hell
So
yeah,
he's
dude.
told them about like his job, his life, and Dax, Goddess of Chaos, is like, he's told me so many things and I believe none of it.
Yeah.
But this man, I want a biography of his life because I'm so interested into how he got into the back of my store and fell asleep. How did this happen to him?
Well, they say like I think Joe Rogan had like a segment where he talks about, he says like, man, like there are people that everybody knows somebody that really does nothing in life, but if you were to give them a TV show, it'd be the greatest thing on television.
Yeah.
And that is Lyle.
It is Lyle. God bless you.
I would watch that show. You throw that man into Cambodia and you're like, survive. That would be incredible.
That would be it.
He would survive.
He would find a way.
Yeah.
He'd make friends with
Still be getting USBs on his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd find him.
He'd
He'd,
be
like,
like-
scratch him up.
he's
Up
like,
to the Cambodian government. This is the best USB ever.
ever in customs. Why do you have so many of these USBs? Is this contraband? This is the best USB I've ever found. I don't know what your guys' Staples over here is running in Cambodia, but this is premium.
And he always talks about how good it is. And I'm like, I don't care. I know it's good. He's like, this is the 3.0. The 2.0 sucks. And I'm like, yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
generally what it means.
Probably why they made the 3.0.
Yeah, to make it better. Yeah.
Anyway, that's Lyle for you.
See,
Yeah.
we never get any interesting people like that in my work. We get the occasional like crank addict that'll come in, and he'll come in, he'll be scratching his arm up all like rapidly, be like, "Hey, you guys have a seating available?" And we're like, yeah, sure. What do you? How many people you bringing?" He goes, just me." I'm like, all right, cool.
Sick.
Sure, we'll get you a table started. And I've had conversations like these with probably 5+ people. But it'll be kind of the same thing. Hey, you got tables? Yeah, sure. I'll go get you one set up right now.
You got tables? Yes. Yeah.
Looks
it
around.
is a restaurant.
Yes.
And for those of you listening, I don't know if I've said what I do before, but I'm a waiter at a sushi restaurant. And so we get an interesting crowd of people that'll come in every now and again. But my favorite are the meth addicts. Because they'll come in, they'll be all itchy and kind of tweaky. They'll ask for a table for one. We go, okay, yeah, no problem. So I'll go set them down. And then they'll ask for the most absurd things. So it was not even 20 seconds after I got and one guy sat down. And he goes, do you have peppermint lime vodka? And I go, no, I don't even know where we would sell that. I don't know if that's a thing.
Peppermint and lime.
Yeah. And he goes, are you sure you don't? I could check for you. I'm like,
That would be a Moscow Mule. But
I don't know.
Ginger. Anyway.
Either way, I don't know. I go, no, you don't need to check. I know for a fact that we don't have any. And he goes, are you sure? He starts getting up and walking to the front door of the restaurant. And I go, no, sir, I'm sure you don't need to check. We only serve what we have on our menu. He goes, oh, I'm going to go check just to make sure. So he starts racing his little tweaky meth legs down towards our fridge.
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god.
And as of right now, this is pretty recent. So after COVID kind of struck our area, we shut down and we're only doing dining outside. But our inside is open so people can come in, grab the food, and pay for it if they're doing takeout. But we haven't shut off the back where the service section is. So that's where all of our alcohol is at. And he just starts fucking racing towards it. Like, he knows exactly where it is. And so he's, pretty fastly walking. He's not busted into a jog yet. He's just kind of fastly power walking towards the back service section. And I have to run after him and be like, sir, you can't go back there. And it's just the same, I just really want to check if you have it. I'm like, dude, I've told you like 6 times now. We don't have it. So it gets to a point where he's probably about 20 steps from the fridge where we keep all of our booze at. And I have to sit there and reason with him and show him from like the outside perspective. I'm not letting him in the back area, but I'm like shifting him to where he has an angle on it so he can see the inside of the fridge. And I go, look, we don't have any of the bottles you're asking for. We don't have your weird vodka. We don't have any of that shit. We have Japanese beer. We got sake. That's all we have. And he just gets really sad and mopey, and he turns around and starts walking away really slowly. He goes, it'd be really cool if you guys had that. I'm like,
It would be pretty cool.
I'm sure it
Oh,
would
man,
be.
it'd be so dope.
It'd be so sick.
Another, like, there's a ton of interactions like that, and I think they're super interesting. The weirdest one for me, personally, my other coworkers have had a ton of weird ones too, is this is when we were open before COVID, and this really, really attractive girl comes in. We're talking model level. She comes in, and sits down at a table. And she goes, "Need a table for two." I'm like, "Can do." Get her sat down, have 2 placemats set out, whatever. And about 10 minutes goes by. She's still waiting on the person. So I'm figuring, all right, well, I guess I'll go get an order started. So I go, and I ask her, can I get you started for any appetizers, da-da-da-da. And she goes, "Actually, no, my boyfriend's pulling up right now." So I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'll wait for him then." So her boyfriend comes in, not who I expected it was at all. He was, put in perspective, she was about roughly 5'8". This dude was about 5'1", about 100 pounds, smelled like burning dog shit, and was covered in piss-stained dark gray sweatpants. And he comes in, his knee has a bit of an inward buckle as he's walking, and he looks like the fucking crypt keeper. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. And he goes and sits down, and you can hear her throughout the entire restaurant go, "Oh my God, hi, babe." And I was like, oh shit, what is this going to turn out to be? I walk back over, and she is tongue deep in this man right now.
Wait.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Wait.
Like, she is smashing her face against his and, like, making out furiously across the table with him.
Jesus.
If this man can do it, so can I.
Apparently.
Dude,
I had a customer sort of like that once at my first restaurant job where I was folding silverware, which means napkins for people who don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But I'm making the silverware look all nice and presentable in these napkins. And I'm sitting at this one table that usually I sit face towards the wall because I like to imagine the customers aren't there.
Yeah.
But next to this table, there's a window to the veranda and the patio. And directly out the window, there's a table. This table is practically right up against the glass. One push a little too hard on this table, all that glass is fucked. I'm looking outside while I'm folding my shit. Customer sits down, and presumably his wife comes over. And they are making out like it's no one's business. They are practically having sex while standing in a chair. What the fuck? And of course, I can see everything.
Yeah.
Because there's a wall between us, but the viewing distance is only 2 to 3 feet away.
Yeah.
Not a good time. And they weren't attractive, so it wasn't like, oh, I can pretend this is just shitty porn. This was, oh, these are actual degenerates 3 feet away from me.
Yeah, we have people doing that at our frontal bar. So when you walk into our restaurant, there's a small bar to the left.
Yeah.
But we don't really use it as that. It's more of kind of like a host desk. But one night we had people sitting there, and it was a couple in probably their mid-50s. Dude was on the older end. Woman looked like she just turned 50. And, they come in, they already look a little bit intoxicated. They sound a little intoxicated already. And they ask for 2 large blue moons. So we go, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. So I'm going to grab them. And our hostess comes up sprinting behind me like 10 seconds later. She goes, "Gage, you need to get up to the front right now." I'm like, what's the matter? And she goes, you have to see it. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm like, all right. So I walk up there, and Grandpa was 3 knuckles deep in her vag.
Oh!
It was ridiculous. He was going to town.
No way.
No, it looked like he was trying to like clear a fucking clog or something. Like he was aggressively like jackhammering her vagina with his hand.
Jesus.
And mind you, this is in view of the entire front half of the restaurant. So there's a family with like a 3-year-old kid there who have full view of him just getting fucking in there. Like he's aggressively going in. Like he's searching for something.
He's about to eat a hand roll too. He's about,
Yeah. Like he was doing it
Some classy
furiously.
shit.
Yeah. And mind you, they weren't necessarily, they're not super attractive because, they're older. But they also don't look like particularly, as Israel put it, degenerate people.
yeah, degenerative.
They don't look like, they just look like normal, you'll see this person drinking a really bad coffee at a local coffee shop. They look like pretty normal people, but he's just going to fucking town. And I had to be the one to break it up and say, sir, you can't finger your wife in the middle of our restaurant.
What did you say? Like verbatim, what did you say when you went up to him?
So I first had to realize that this was real. I wasn't having a fever dream and I wasn't dreaming. And then I finally was like, okay, I have to say something. There are people that are basically fucking in the front of our restaurant and I have to say something to them. Okay. So I muster up enough mental fortitude, and then I walk up and I go, excuse me, sir, I'm sure you're having a good time, but you can't be doing that in our restaurant. If you want to do that, please take it back to your hotel room. And he just didn't even realize I was there because he just kept going, just more, just like making out with her, just like still fucking, just still going for it. And then I finally I didn't touch them, but I had to raise my voice and go, sir. And then finally he broke off and he goes, huh, what? I go, you cannot be doing that with your wife in the restaurant. Please take it outside. And he goes, okay. And then he puts his hand down one more time, gets one more feel, and then goes, all right, babe, let's go. And then this left. Mind you, they didn't pay for the drinks either. They just walked out and didn't come back.
I wouldn't want to touch his card. I wouldn't want to touch his stash. I think it's for the best that he didn't pay for his drinks.
A TLDR for that story, a 50-year-old couple walk in drunk, order 2 Blue Moons, start finger blasting each other in the front of the bar, and then I have to tell them to leave and they walk out and don't pay for the drinks. And then we never saw them again. My manager didn't believe me when I told him. He's like, no, that didn't happen. I'm like, check your fucking security cameras. It happened.
That's like some... You could put that on some website.
It was horrifying. It was scary.
Yeah.
I walked home with mental scarring that night.
Yeah, that's
I've never had something that bad happen again. I mean, I've had people like, practically eating each other's faces at tables. Or like,
I thought that's where this was going.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I've had people eating each other's faces practically, not letting each other breathe.
Travis the monkey, no!
I've had people grope each other while they're like at the tables, but I've never had something that overtly just raunchy happen before.
I've seen the stray, up in between the cheeks butt grab in my work, but nothing compared to that.
No. I don't think I ever will see something like that again, as long as I work there. It was kind of ridiculous.
Kind of switching topic a little bit, but staying in a theme.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on sugar daddies and sugar babies?
See,
At least they working.
I don't necessarily care.
Yeah.
I will take an issue to it if it's, something kind of overtly weird. Like, oh, I'm just literally a day turning 18 sugar baby with my 67-year-old sugar daddy who's from the Philippines.
It's like it starts taking advantage of how young they are.
Yeah.
I don't even get why people do that anymore when they can probably make even more money just being on OnlyFans or some other stupid shit now.
On OnlyFans, I think the people on OnlyFans are geniuses. Peak hustlers. People paying for OnlyFans, bottom of the barrel.
I know
you what.
I know people personally who are on OnlyFans.
Like the post?
Yeah, that post. I have male friends who post.
Wait, what?
Wait,
Yeah.
hold up.
Yeah.
I have been trying to break into this market in a different way. So we all know the whole thing where everyone says you can make so much money just by being a woman in the modern era, right?
Yeah.
And one of the big examples people use or cite when they bring this up is they talk about OnlyFans, but they also talk about selling used underwear, right?
Right, yeah.
So I had a big brain play planned out. I said, okay, here's the deal. Buy a bunch of women's underwear. Spray perfume on it. Then check out on eBay and undersell everyone else on there. I can make a fortune, right?
Thing is, underwear is expensive.
Not on eBay where they do it.
No.
I was this close to my passive income of selling fake used underwear. This fucking close. But eBay is not where they sell their shit, and I don't know where they sell it.
That's true. Yeah, where
Craigslist.
Craigslist,
I don't know.
dude.
There's
But I can't do it on
Craigslist is
Craigslist
hilarious.
because once they show up, they say, "Oh, that's a guy."
just be like, it's my girlfriend's.
Ooh,
You just be like, yeah, I'm into that,
Yeah.
brain.
and there you go.
Do that.
I've got 2 more stories.
Okay.
One of them takes place in Gage's restaurant. I think I've been blue balling the audience for long enough, but I'm gonna blue ball you a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell the other story first.
Nice.
First story is when I worked at the first restaurant I ever worked in. It's this beachside place, and this is the same restaurant where I was folding silverware. It's late. I've been working for probably 7-ish hours at this point. It's dark. Everyone's getting drunk. Everyone loves to go there on the weekend, get a shit ton of beer, and get drunk out of their fucking minds, right?
Yeah.
Now, in front of the bar, there's this long table, right? Where that's where the usuals come. There's a homeless guy who rides his bike all the way from San Luis to this beach place every single day
Sheesh.
because he's friends with the owner. So every day, the homeless guy comes in and he talks to me, and of course, I have to pretend to care, which annoys the fuck out of me. I don't even want to talk to people. Like 90% of the people I like, I'd rather not talk to.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And here we are, making where the whole point is just to talk.
This is These 3 other people are some of the few I like to talk to on a regular basis.
Cool.
So I don't want to deal with this guy, obviously. I listen to his whatever story, but the real kicker is the other regular, this bald guy. Usually I don't deal with the bald guy, someone else deals with him, because at the time I couldn't deliver alcohol because I was under the age of 18. I think you need to be 18 to serve alcohol or whatever. I couldn't serve alcohol. I could only order it. So I didn't deal with this guy pretty much ever. And this was back when I styled my hair up. So I'm walking from the back room into the bar area, which is where this bald guy is. And he stops me and he says, it's nice hair. I said, thanks. And he says, you know, I really hate being bald. And I said, well, you know, a few years I'll probably be in your exact same position because my dad's bald and his dad is bald. And he looks at me and he says, you know what? Go fuck yourself.
What?
I'm just trying to keep this fake conversation with you going so that you don't think I'm an asshole. But
I've
Evidently
already
that didn't
failed.
work.
okay.
It's only taken one sentence from my end.
I enjoy working this shitty job, sweaty, it's hot as fuck, minimum wage, just so you can tell me I can go fuck myself over a conversation you started. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where else do you even take that conversation? Like,
Like, haha, I have hair, you don't. And then he can actually say, go fuck yourself.
yeah.
Like, sorry.
But I was trying to, like,
suck, dude. Don't know what
level with this guy.
Yeah, like be like, I'm in the same boat, basically.
Yeah.
What a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've been blue balling the audience for long enough.
First
this
episode.
Is a story all about how my life got turned upside down when I shit myself in a restaurant. This is the same restaurant where Gage works currently. He didn't work there at the time. But frequently, I would go there for some epic sushi.
It's a pretty good restaurant.
Yeah.
It's an alright restaurant. There's better underground sushi restaurants.
You definitely are.
Well, this one
But-
isn't very underground. You
yeah.
can literally see it from
I
the
know.
freeway. It's kind of a beacon of light.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm in the restaurant and I get the Golden California roll, which is a deep fried roll, which is my favorite roll at the time. I haven't had it in a long time after that. So the next time I had it, I was like, man, it was all nostalgia. I don't really like this roll that much. I much prefer other rolls.
Yeah.
But at the time, this was my favorite roll. We're sitting there. It's a dinner party. We have family over who's not usually there. Oh, I got a little fart coming on. Let out a little fart. Oh, that's an anal sneeze. I immediately realized that I have just sharted. And I say, excuse me, I have to use the restroom. I step up from the table, walk to the bathroom, take my underwear off, throw it right in the trash can, bury it under some toilet paper, clean up, back to dinner. Someone else had to touch my poopy underwear.
Yeah.
Don't know who.
You
Not
could've
my
sold
problem.
that. You could have sold that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
used
Probably
poopy
could've
underwear
sold it on a fetish
underage.
site.
Oh, we could catch predator that way.
Oh.
But
Oh.
is it being a predator if it's poopy underwear?
If it's under a teen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
under 18, I would say it's pretty.
Okay.
It's pretty pedo-y.
Yeah.
You've reminded me about my work and how much I want to talk about it.
How much shitty underwear you had to pick up?
Yeah, not only that, just how shitty my work is in general.
Cool.
So my work is probably one of the least sanitary restaurants I've ever stepped foot in.
Oh my god, you say that, but if you work at any other restaurant, it's the exact same.
I know.
Yeah. Have you read Kitchen Confidential?
Yeah.
It's
So
it's the same.
to lay out perspective for you, this was probably 5.5 months after I started working at the restaurant. I got hired on as a busser originally, but they had lost some servers because they were going back to school and they needed to hire more, so they offered me a position. So I went, sure, this is like my first restaurant job. I have absolutely zero server experience, so this will be good for me. So it's the first week of me being a server. And they're instructing me on how to do my job, whatever. The first red flag that stood out to me is for our teppanyaki grills. It's where chefs come out and cook your meal in front of you, for those of you who don't know. And
Dad calls them the bang and clang grills.
nice.
That's the sound.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna bang and clang you.
Okay, so as I was saying, the first red flag that stood out at me was they were instructing me to go get ginger sauce, which is in our back fridge. It's also where we have our gigantic tub of salad that we use as a side dish for people who sit at those grills. And the way you would get a salad out there, you would take your dirty, unwashed, unsanitized hand that you have used the entire night and stick it straight into the salad tub, rummage your hand through it, and then just put a nice handful inside of a little cup, put some dressing over it that's been sitting in the fridge without a cover on it for an entire 19 hours, and then serve it to a customer.
That's what you get for eating salad, you cretin.
Yeah. So that was the first thing that really stuck out of me. I was like, I don't think that's sanitary, but I didn't say anything. I kept it to myself. So then that same night, they're teaching me how to do a back job, which, again, for those of you who don't know what back job is, it's just cleaning up the back service station, doing whatever, putting all the shit away. And they're having me wipe down the trays. And the trays are kind of nasty. It's where we spill 90% of our sauces, where we put all of our food on, put all of our drinks on. There's a lot of germs and bacteria on it. And we're supposed to clean them. So I figure, okay, we're going to wash them with soap. Nope. We grab a dirty sauce-covered, bacteria-filled rag and some Windex. And then just spray it down. Yeah. And I was thinking, man, there's got to be cleaning supplies that are a lot better than a bottle of Windex to clean these fucking dirty trays.
Yeah.
And I ask my manager, I go, do we have anything else other than Windex? And he goes, no, that's good enough. I go, all right, cool. Well,
Have you ever had to clean pea mats, though?
yes,
That's the worst.
it is.
Oh.
But I'll continue because I'll get to that.
I'll get to the pea mats.
Yeah.
The pea mats.
So I clean the trays and I set them down and I think, wow, that's kind of gross, but whatever. So then they have me move the hot water machine. It's where we're brewing all of our hot water and whatever. You move it over and it's a bukkake of just crust and shit. Love that we have an airplane going overhead right now.
That's a loud airplane.
Probably a
Yeah.
military cargo plane. Those are usually the ones that are really loud.
Yeah.
But anyway, I move it over, and there's about half an inch of just thick crust and shit just built up under it. And in my head, I'm thinking, how is this even possible? The only thing that we make anywhere in this station is hot fucking water. There's nothing else that we make. So I'm like, all right, guess I'm cleaning it. So I put on a latex glove, I grab a bottle of bleach, and then I grab a new rag, and I start scrubbing it down. And there's tactile snaps of all the stuff breaking off.
What?
It's been so fermented and crusted down there that there's an audible crack when you try to move it. So I'm cleaning off this adobe brick of garbage. And the entire time I'm thinking, oh my God, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? So I clean it all up. I throw the rag in the trash because I'm not going to have them reuse that. And, cleaning everything else up. And then we go to clean and refill the bottles. Now we have a few different sauces. We have one which is called an eel sauce. It's just it's a mix of a sticky sauce, a sticky sweet sauce, and a ponzu sauce, which is a dipping, like a kind of a salty dipping sauce.
It's good sauce.
And we have a bottle that's filled with that. The thing is, we have not once in the past year and a half I have worked there cleaned that fucking bottle out.
Oh.
Every time it gets down to about a quarter of an inch fill, like empty, there's a quarter of an inch left, and then they just fill it back up, and they never clean it at all. That goes for every single sauce bottle. The only time they got cleaned were by me. Every other time I worked, there was a span of time where I was working every single night for like a few months. Nobody cleaned them except for me. And so I thought, we are using this on a customer's food. We are pouring this on people's sushi rolls. This is fucking nasty. So, fast forward a bit more. Fast forward a couple months. I've learned to deal with it. I've learned to clean up when my bosses aren't looking. Then, we get told by one of our co-owners of the restaurant that we have a health inspector. There might be a health inspector coming.
Is this going to be like Charlie Day or Charlie Work episode of Always Sunny, where he's just like running around, but instead of Charlie, it's you?
I'll get to it.
Okay,
so, they say, we have a health inspector might be coming in today. And I go, oh, okay, that shouldn't be a big deal. And my manager says, so we need to teach you guys how to clean everything up so it looks like we can pass the test. And I go, excuse me? So for the next half an hour before we open, they're running us around showing us how to hide everything we have so that way we don't get shut down by the health department. Because as of right now, we're standing on 2 strikes against our restaurant. 1 more and we're shut down.
Oh, man.
God.
So...
After all this, I'm still like, I'd still eat that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh shit, all right. So they're running us around, and mind you, we're not cleaning anything. The only thing we're doing is we're getting hot water, wiping off so it looks like it's cleaned, and then hiding the rest of our nasty shit.
Oh.
We sweep all of the garbage under the section into one corner behind the fridge so nobody can see it, which means there's probably 3 or 4 mountains worth of that stuff just built up behind the fridge. And so I'm like, this is really weird. Why are we doing this? But, I'll go along with it, sure. I mean, if I say anything, I'm probably going to get fired. So, think, all right, well, I'll help you hide up your fucking mistakes. So, then we learned how to do that. It's getting towards the back end of the shift of the night, and I'm checking out all the shit that I have to clean. And at this point, I've done it enough this week to where there's not much to clean. There's nothing that's like disgustingly sticky or fermented and crusted. So we're okay. So I'm checking this out of curiosity. I'm looking at our packaged fish because none of the fish we use is really fresh. It's all shipped from South Korea in like
That's kind of
plastic
wild.
packaging. Yeah. So
We live on the ocean.
I know, but it's
You can't get all the fish you want in the same place, though, Dane.
That's true.
so I'm looking at the dates on the fish. And most of it's in Korean, but there's some English bits that you can pick out. One of those packages of fish was outdated by a year and a half. Yeah. A year and a half, the fish went bad. Meaning, it's been bad longer than I've worked there.
Jesus.
So, I look.
Don't want to eat there, Dane?
Yeah.
So I look at some of the other packages. 2 months out of date, month and a half out of date, 5 months out of date. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are we're just poisoning people. People are like getting poisoned because of us. But I keep going and I keep cleaning all this shit up. And then I get done. And I ask one of my coworkers, I'm like, do you know how out of date all the fish is? And she's like, yeah, we all do. I'm like, why does no one say anything? And she's like, because if we do, we'll all get fired. And quite frankly, this job sucks, but it pays enough to where I don't want to complain that much. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, fine. So it was like, all right, cool, whatever. Fast forward another month. It's about 8:30 at night, and we got about another hour left in the shift. And we hear someone go into the bathroom because the door is super loud. You can hear it throughout the entire
But
restaurant.
hold on. Instead of the Odyssey, this is Gage's Dante's Inferno. This is like the layers of hell.
Yeah. So
Accurate.
we hear the bathroom door open, and we're like, no one thinks anything of it because it's the bathroom door. And about 10 seconds later, we hear it open up and close 5 more times in a succession of about 2 seconds. So we're like, what the fuck is going on? So I go over and I check it. And good Lord in heaven help me when I tell you there was the fattest human shit I had ever seen sitting in the middle of the floor.
How are people this brave?
I don't know. But it was probably the size of my head. Just
What?
chilling on the floor.
Shit.
Is it like a log or is it a pile?
It was a pile.
That's mad.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, fuck me. And I sit there in disbelief for a few seconds. I'm not like rushing out to tell anybody. I'm just kind of sitting there with my hand on my hips thinking, are you fucking kidding me? I understand if it was a small kid who couldn't hold it, but this is the shit of an ogre. There's no way a child did this. So I go and I tell my manager, and he goes, okay, go clean it up. And I go, excuse me? And he goes, you just go put on gloves and clean it up. I straight up told him, you could not pay me enough money on the entire fucking world to clean up that amount of shit. And he goes, well, someone has to clean it up. And I go, yeah, you can go do it. I'm not doing it. So he gets the dishwasher to go clean it up.
Yeah.
And
It's the hierarchy.
I felt so bad for him because he puts up with so much fucking nonsense. But I'd never seen him have to do that before.
They always make the dishwashers do it. When I was working at my beachside restaurant job,
Yeah.
I walked in the restroom one time, and there's a toilet full of puke. And I looked at it and said, I don't get paid to do that. And I walked out. And I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to be told to go clean it up. So later, another dude who works for us comes out of the restaurant. He comes out of the restroom. I mean, the whole restaurant might as well have been in the restroom.
Yeah.
But comes out of the restroom and says, there's so much puke in the bathroom. Someone needs to do something about it. And my manager said, go grab the dishwasher. And it's always this there's multiple dishwashers, but the only one who has to clean up the gross shit just so happens to be the only one who doesn't speak any English.
Oh, man.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I still got shit to talk about my work because it'll tie into shit like that too. So,
We're going for a long episode tonight.
yeah, that's fine. I got a lot to talk about right now.
We're chilling. Hold on. While you talk about that, I got to go pee.
Okay,
We don't have to pause. I listened back to it anyways.
cool.
Oh, my mic.
So, to give you guys a little more context about the people who cook at my work, our sushi chefs are all Asian. They're all Korean. I mean, I've already said what language the packages were in. They're all Korean chefs. But in our kitchens, it's primarily Hispanic chefs. I think they're Mexican. I believe they're Mexican. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But then there's one white dude back there. Every single time there's a complaint about any of the food, even if it's sushi, my managers will take it back to the kitchen chefs and bitch them out. It'll be a complaint about a piece of avocado, which, mind you, the kitchen chefs do not cut for the rolls. The only thing they make for the rolls are the deep fried shit that goes inside of them. If they have a deep fried piece of shrimp or a deep fried vegetable, that's the only thing the kitchen chefs make for sushi. We had one time where someone was complaining about an avocado being too soft on top of a roll. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's a fucking avocado. But okay, I'll go tell the chef.
So I go to tell the sushi chef, and then he directs me to the kitchen. And I go, well, they didn't make this. You did. And he goes, no. Go tell kitchen. I'm like, okay. So I go tell one of the chefs, and I'm like, yeah, I know this isn't your fault. And he wants me to come back here and tell you to fix it. But I know you didn't make it. And he goes, yeah, I don't know what the problem is. I'm like, yeah, I don't either. And he's like, you should go, talk to your manager real quick, talk to our manager real quick and get that sorted out. So I do. I go let him know. He comes back, and then he starts bitching out the kitchen chef for not remaking the avocado. And I ask him, I'm like, why are you making him remake the avocado when he didn't even make the dish to begin with? And he goes, well, because he's back here and he has avocado, so why doesn't he just remake it? And I go, because he didn't make the fucking roll. He's not a sushi chef. We have an entire team of 5 chefs up in that fucking bar who can do it. Why not make one of them redo it? And he goes, well, because they sent him back here to make it. And I go, it doesn't matter. It's not his goddamn roll. Have the sushi chefs remake it. So my manager actually listens to me and then sends it back up. And shit like that will happen all the time. It doesn't matter. It's ridiculous. It makes me so pissed off. But we also just have to deal with it. We also have to deal with the chefs getting pissed off at us for something we don't do. Like, for one, if someone fucks up on a takeout order, we just have to be like, yo, this happened. Sorry about that. But there have been multiple times where someone fucks up on a takeout order, and mind you, I'm a waiter, so I'm not really dealing with takeout. That's primarily the host's job, but we help out when we need to. And I'm usually running the line pretty much the entire night. So I'm running food out and drinks out constantly. And one night, someone got their order messed up or whatever, and they were complaining about it at the front. They were here to pick up an order. Something was wrong. They complained about it, so they sent it back to the chef. As I'm running food, as I have a gigantic tray filled with food on it, I hear, Geji, come here now! And I was like, what? He goes, what the fuck is this? And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, order, it's messed up. What the fuck did you do? And I go, I didn't do anything. I didn't take the order. He goes, well, why is it all messed up? And I tell him verbatim, I don't fucking know. Ask somebody else. And then I walk away. And then I get called into the office 5 minutes later, asking why I cursed the chef out. And I go, it's because he's asking me why I fucked up a takeout order when I wasn't even working takeout, and he was yelling at me in front of a customer. They don't care about who they're doing it in front of. Our sushi bar is about 10 feet away from the front of the restaurant, from the customers' tables, so they can hear literally everything the chefs say. Even if they're whispering, you could hear it. But the chefs make it a habit of screaming at the servers in front of them, in front of the customers, and even the customers will go, what is their problem?
Yeah.
And we're like, we don't know. We've never understood why they're such assholes. Which, by the way, some people sometimes give sympathy tips for those.
Sympathy
tips.
Sympathy. Yeah, sympathy tips. I had a customer give me $100 one night because he's like, I'm sorry about this. I think you need this tonight. I'm like, thank you. God damn.
Do you split tips at your work too, or
We do, but if I ever get tips like that, I pocket that.
That's going towards a new tattoo, boy.
Yeah, totally. Or going towards more hentai.
Wow, opening a can in front of the mic and now just disgusting. Disgusting.
Anyways, I'll wrap it up about my work here. Just the last few things. The most recent one that happened 3 days ago was a customer ordered sake, and they got it to their table, and they were like, yeah, this tastes really weird. So we're like, give us the bottle, and we'll see what's wrong with it. And we're looking at it, and we can't figure out what's wrong until we check the cap, and it went out of date in 2014. It was 6 years out of date. And we bring it to our owner. So we're owned by two people, a man and a woman. They're both siblings. We bring it to the female owner, and she goes, oh, serve it anyway. And we're like, it's 6 years out of date. Doesn't matter that it's alcohol. This is rice wine that is 6 fucking years out of date. It went out of date when we were getting into high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, serve it anyway. It's fine." I told her one time, and I went, owner, I'm not going to say her name, owner, to reiterate, I was 13 when this went out of date. I am now 19 years old. We should not be serving this to a customer. And she goes, "No, just serve it. It's fine. It's fine." So I promptly said, "Okay." I waited for her to walk away, snatched a new bottle from the fridge, threw that one away, and gave him a new one. I went, "So, yeah, we're just going to give you a brand new bottle and not charge you anything for the other one. Don't worry about that." They're like, "Cool." I could tell they didn't really want to ask any more questions out of fear for their own safety and health. So I was like, "Cool. I don't have to tell you that this went out of date like a third of my life ago." So, cool. We'll just let it slide there. I have probably a good 5 more hours of shit I could talk about my work. It's just that bad. Israel does too.
Oh yeah.
There's so much shit we could talk about. For anyone listening who thinks they want to work in a restaurant or are aspiring to work in a restaurant, don't. If you want to get experience in customer service, work a real retail job, work behind a counter, be a fucking cashier, be something else other than a server or a busser. Because people are their absolute fucking worst when they are hungry, and they are their absolute worst when they're going to a dine-out restaurant.
And they don't give a fuck about how you feel.
No.
To you, you are there to provide them an experience, and if you do not provide them with that experience, you are viewed as lower than scum. It is ridiculous. This goes for anybody living in any big city, fucking Indianapolis, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, anywhere. Anybody there who's going for dine-out food, who is not a local to the area, who you don't see come in regularly, they are there for an experience, and if you do not give it to them, they will chew you the fuck out. For no reason. It is terrible. Work something else other than a restaurant. I beg of you.
The problem is it pays.
It pays well, but
You can find other jobs that pay you more. If you because
Construction.
my vitamin job, best job in the world, paid commission. You can find commission jobs. You can find other jobs that pay you on top of your wage.
Now, to give a brief estimate of how much I made in the good time of me working there, we get paid every 2 weeks, and I was making around $500 in my paychecks, and then around upwards of $2,000 in tips every 2 weeks. That sounds really good, but you learn after a month of being a waiter that you could be being paid double that, and it is still not worth it. It is still not worth any of that cash, because you are treated like a fucking... You're treated like a fucking piece of human walking shit.
Yeah.
They call them jobs where you don't need any skills, but that doesn't mean it's not hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You can find a job that pays that much that doesn't make you want to shoot yourself.
My dad was a waiter for a really long time. Basically from his first job was technically McDonald's, but he worked there for one day and then quit.
Nice.
And then his second job was this Greek restaurant that he worked when he was 15. And he's worked as a waiter, busser, waiter, host. Jeez, Nate.
Can you?
Good Lord.
Anyways.
Continue.
But he's been a waiter up until he has his most recent job now. And I think because he doesn't have a lot of bad experiences like that, and I think it's because he's worked mostly in just slightly upper restaurants. Like he worked at a nice Italian place. That was the last waiter job they worked at. And when he lived in Salt Lake City, he worked at this place called the New Yorker. Not there anymore, but it's like one of the top restaurants in Salt Lake City. And I guess it's just like kind of the worst. I think the worst place to work at as a waiter is probably the stuff in the middle, because you get so many crappy people, but not enough like actually good people to outweigh them. Because at my job, it's like right in the middle where I get people who are like the worst, but I also get people who are pretty cool most of the time. But it's like if I were to work at Skechers, I feel like I just hate my life.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, man. Because I worked at a pretty nice restaurant. I mean, on average, it cost like $50 a person at that place, and that's just for food. That's not including alcohol. And alcohol we'd sell a lot.
Yeah.
And I still fucking hated it.
Yeah, no.
It's definitely not for everybody.
It's unless you work at a extremely high class restaurant where they're charging like thousands of dollars per meal. It's going to be a pretty similar experience across the board.
I don't think there's any restaurant that charges $1,000 per
Well,
meal.
if you want to go like
There are.
$1,000 a bill, where I was working,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
often like $3,000 a bill.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it gets expensive.
Most expensive restaurant in America, I think, is $650 per person, and that's baseline.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive restaurant in the world. and
Yeah,
there's-
when I said thousands, I wasn't meaning per person. I was just meaning like overall bill.
and that doesn't include drink. When in those restaurants, you can go up, but
Oh yeah. But I think this is probably a pretty good time place to stop.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank
Pretty
you for
hefty
listening
episode.
to episode 7 of
Siete.
CTTV. What?
Indeed, I said siete.
We are now on Spotify as well. So if you want to check us out,
We are on Spotify. We should be on everything within the coming month. So
That is the plan. Join us for episode 8, where we all light ourselves on fire for a Buddhist monk ritual. Love you
Stay
guys.
tuned.
Stay tuned. Love you guys. Goodbye.
cool.